Gamesthetic, episode 156, the last episode of 2023. Another year has come to a close, which means that we're going to be doing our top 10 games of the year. The Gamesthetic top 10, not ours individually, one collective list of the top 10 games that we played, this year. So shout out to that. We did it last year as well. I don't remember the full list from last year. I just know God of War came out on top. Full transparency about our list. There are going to be games on here that are not going to be on here because we just didn't play it. Full transparency. Alan Wake's not on this list. None of us played Alan Wake 2. Sorry about it. There are going to be some games like that. Like last year, we didn't have Elden Ring in the top 10. That's fine. We weren't the audience. It's all good. But we still have a good top 10. We're going to be breaking it down here today, as well as just chatting about whatever else we've been up to throughout our break, throughout Christmas. Hopefully you have a wonderful Christmas. Hopefully you're going to have a wonderful, happy new year. It's going to be a great time. I got both the boys here with me over Discord. Boys, how we doing? How we feeling?
I'm doing good. I'm sort of curious about this list because I'm going to be honest, I don't remember last year's either, but I do remember us sort of struggling with it a little bit.
Yeah, last year was kind of a tough one.
I was just losing it a bit. One of these I just assume is Zach's, and I had to Google what the fuck it was.
But I know which one it is.
Yeah, we both know which one it is. So we've got our 10, we've got our honorable mentions. It's going to be a great time. Going to chat about them, reflect on the year that was, and then next week for 157, first episode of the new year, we will do 2024 predictions, which I will do a follow-up to our 2023 predictions because apparently I didn't write them down. So I got to go back to listen to the episode and get them, see how we did, as well as our most anticipated games of the year.
I only know one prediction that I had.
What was it? Because I don't remember a single one of mine.
I just know it was a win.
The only one that I remember is
Starfield!
beginning of the year, I said Starfield it's the Starfield one. Starfield will be the most basic-ass Bethesda game, or most expansive, but basic.
Basic-ass, but I still have the TikTok up. The TikTok
and he got
a
win out of that one.
Yeah, that's a big W for John on that one. So shout out to that. So we'll follow up on that next week.
Yeah, it's literally the only one I remember.
Starfield.
Yeah, forgot all about that. So, yeah, we'll do that this upcoming weekend. So, shout out to that. Make sure to come by, hang out with us. Before we get into the show, if you could, definitely check out some Rogue Energy. I'm actually drinking some right now. Use the referral link down below, promo code SPARKY3 to get 10% off. Join the Discord. Check out Agent Ing. Pick up a jersey. We appreciate that extra support. All right, so let me turn down the music just a smidgens here. Go ahead and just kind of turn it off. So, boys, overall, how we doing? How we feeling? Back from Christmas break, at least for the show, in terms of the show, and back from Christmas break. How we feeling, boys?
I got tamales.
Hell yeah. Shout out to that.
No, that was my legitimate Christmas list wish to my family was an air fryer and tamales.
Oh, hell yes. You got the air fryer, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Love air fryers. If you don't have an air fryer, go buy one. You will want to have more. I want a second air fryer so bad. John, didn't you just get a second air fryer for Black Friday?
I have two now.
Hell yeah. That's living right there. Look, if you're listening to the show and you're just you're questioning the hype of an air fryer, you got to get an air fryer. I promise you. It's life-changing.
Find a friend. They probably have an air fryer. Use theirs.
That's true.
I got my first one.
Yeah, that's how I gave it to John. I gave John my first one. I think I also gave John my toaster oven.
I've gotten a lot of stuff from you. I got no shame in taking it.
Hey man, that's how it goes. I'm sure someone's got a friend out there that's willing to give away an air fryer.
You buy new stuff, and I'm like, well, what about the old one?
Yeah, no, exactly. Completely correct. Oh, no, I mean, taking off for Christmas has been nice. I've been on vacation. I don't really feel like I've been doing a lot of gig work. The next couple days I'm taking off. I'm looking forward to that. In terms of games, my girlfriend got me Dragon's Dogma, Dark Arisen. So shout out to that. Been playing that on the PS4.
I forget. Is that one actually just an expansion of original Dragon's Dogma?
It's like a remaster is what it was. Okay,
that's still weird to me because I know that came out like a year after Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, no, it's basically like a remaster is what I gathered from it. Because I'm really excited for Dragon's Dogma 2, even though I never played the first one. So, when it came to all of the gifts that me and her got each other, we both formed a list of 5 or 6 games that we really have our eye on and just pick one from that, And Dragon's Dogma, I did some little homework on it. It's like, should I get the original or should I get Dark Arisen? Because what the hell is the difference? Apparently, yeah, Dark Arisen is just like a last generation, Xbox One, PS4 remaster port up of the game is all it was essentially.
Okay.
Yeah. So I made great value Kratos, and that's who I'm playing with right now. So I'm having a great time with that. I made also
As your
made
character or
yes
your follower?
as my character, and for my follower, I made great value Atreus. So I'm having a great
Okay.
time right now.
I just realized that's because you sent me
I
a
did
string of
send you that.
messages
Yes.
God of War related. And I think I was telling you this the other night, Zach, where he sent me like several things,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then like 6 hours later, I replied to the first one.
That's true. That's trademark John. So like, let's see if I can get my Kratos here on the stream. Let me go over here to Discord, pick me. So there's my great value Kratos. I
That
think
looks atrocious.
I think it's okay, for what I have to work with on Dragon's Dogma.
I was about to say the character creator's not the greatest.
No, it was not. But I mean, I feel like I did an okay job. I mean, it works. I have a deep
For
voice.
how much that world reacts based on how your character looks, the character creation is not very deep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's all right. I played. In terms of God of War, I have dove into Valhalla. Been enjoying that a little bit. I've already seen a lot of clips from it, and man, just top to bottom, I can't wait to fully complete Valhalla. Just from the clips that I've seen, the little tidbits, what I've got to experience, having a great time with it, and then also playing Persona 5 Royal. My new game plus. I got since it got removed from Game Pass. I recently got a new copy of the Xbox version from GameFly. Shout out to GameFly. They're still a thing. They sell new games.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they're still a thing.
You bought it from them? I knew they were
Yes.
still a thing because I check on it up every
Yeah.
year. It's like, y'all still alive?
Yeah, no, they're still alive and they sell new games. And apparently, like I was telling my girlfriend, like when I was trying to hunt for Persona 5 Royal, Persona 5 Royal on Xbox is like gold. All right, it is gold, okay? Because like no one
that
has
didn't
it.
surprise me.
It's never on sale. Like Amazon's got it brand new, but it's not on sale. Like GameStop has the PS4 version, PS5, the Switch version, and they're all on sale for like anywhere from 15 to 25 bucks. But like the Xbox version will be full price or not available or whatever. So shout out to GameFly for coming in clutch, a new copy for 30 bucks. So shout out to that. So I've been currently doing
Should
my
have bought it full price.
do what?
Should have bought it full price.
I've already bought the game 2 other times. Okay.
I've bought collector's editions several times.
All right, we don't need to flex your collector's editions. We know you have 74. All right, let's relax. So, no, they've been enjoying those. Last few days, I've been doing Persona, mostly because, like, man, I've been so tired these last few days. And
Did you ever go back to Tactica?
No, but I want to. And, it's on my backlog. The reason I've been doing Persona 5 Royal is over, like, Dragon's Dogma or Valhalla is because, like, I've done it. So, like, it's turn-based. I can literally just turn my brain off and play a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's been very relaxing to just turn my brain off and just play a game. The only time I have to turn my brain on is when I'm doing some of the content that I missed on in my first playthrough because I was busy working on my social stats.
Gotcha.
So I've been having fun with it. But no, looking forward to this year of gaming for sure. We'll dive into that this upcoming weekend on 157. My first game on my radar is going to be Prince of Persia coming out on the 18th. So
you got this guy trying to rotate between a bunch of different games
Yep.
that you only need one. You only need Monster Hunter World.
yeah, shout out to John going back to Monster
It is
Hunter
all
World.
you need.
Yep.
That's where you're wrong, John. Because I have gotcha games.
That's
and
true.
I have Reverse
Yeah.
1999.
Yep, shout out to Reverse
Yeah.
1999. I'm surprised that you didn't put that on your top 10 list, my friend. I put it on honorable mentions for you.
I mean, I enjoy it, but it's a gotcha game, bro.
I mean,
Yeah.
we put Marvel Snap on there last year.
That's a card game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
still
not
a
a
mobile
gacha
game.
game.
I know it's not a gacha game, but it's still a mobile game. Come on now.
It's
I know it's two different
somewhat.
things.
This is from a non-gotcha game player, Zach. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Look, I understand they're two different things. I'm just saying mobile games, man.
I mean, 99's fun. It's different, but it wasn't gonna blow out most of the other stuff
Right.
that came out.
Yeah. Well,
Which, I will say, funny thing real quick, because I just got a Monster Hunter itch, probably from seeing Wilds a little bit ago. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna jump back into it and play it. Little did I know, fucking everybody else is too. Like, it's consistently hitting like over 100K like concurrent players every day now. Like everybody's coming back to it, which is kind of crazy to see like 6 years after the game came out.
that's just the one that everyone likes to come back to right now. you know, because my girlfriend, she's a massive Monster Hunter fan, likes Rise, likes World. You know, played some of the older ones like the PSP and stuff. But you know, that's what she talks about, how everyone just comes back to World.
Well, I think it's partially because, like, yeah, everybody kind of went to Rise. Like, I played a bunch of Rise,
Yeah,
and then like you kind of have your fun with it, and then it's like, okay, time to go back to the big boy.
right. All right. Well, before we get to our top 10 games of the year, I'm going to go ahead and just give a full transparency thing on something, just because, like, I feel like it's better to get out of the way now. So, in the studio with me, I do have my dogs. Show off to them
Yeah,
real
we've already
quick.
seen him.
But I'm wanting to
Yeah.
shout that out specifically because, fun fact about my husky there, his name's Lucario, he suffers from seizures. And there are people shooting fireworks, and that's why they're in here with me. So that way, if he has a seizure, I can dip out and take care of it. So if the show ends early because he has a seizure, then hopefully you have a great day. So I just wanted to go ahead and make that known on the off chance that it happens, because we do got some fireworks going on where I live. I know John just like looked, he's like, "Is there?" But yes, there are people shooting
No, I
fireworks
was looking at my cat.
Okay,
He's out. He doesn't know what's happening.
yeah, I get it. So anyway, all right, boys, let's jump into the top 10, knock this out, and then we can kind of chat about really whatever else we got going on. All right, so Gamestetic top 10 games of the year. So let's do it. Number 10, this is going to be kind of an interesting one, that the fact that it made it number 10, because like when John and I talked about this game, you know, we were kind of lukewarm on it. We enjoyed it. I mean, honestly, I'd probably played about 20 hours of the game. Didn't beat it.
I was gonna say, I thought we were gonna go through some honorable mentions before we jump straight to the top 10.
Yeah, Hogwarts Legacy should be down there, but hey.
Yeah, Zach's hard adamant on this one. Yeah, number 10, Hogwarts Legacy. All right. This was a last minute addition. I mean, it was already going to be in the honorable mentions, but like I was talking to John earlier, and
Yeah.
you know, one thing that we kind of talked about for why it's making our list is like, while we were lukewarm on it, is fun. I would recommend it to Harry Potter fans especially. But like, I mean, it is still the number one selling game of 2023. So shout out to that. I mean, it took over the world briefly.
Yeah, for about a month there, like just on Steam, this game sat at like 700,000 people playing it every day for
Yeah.
about a month. Which
And on the other spectrum of that, just content-wise, there was just tons and tons of content dumped into it for over like several months. Still some stuff coming out now, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's one of those where it's like, yeah, we didn't. It's like we played it a little bit. It didn't necessarily like catch our attention that much, but this is one of those ones where it's kind of like you got to respect what it did for the time it was here.
Yeah. I mean, and of all the games that I bought this year, which is a lot that I did not play, I have a problem. Hogwarts Legacy is one of the few that I actually played for more than like 6 hours. I mean, I did play about 20 something hours of the game. I mean, I did enjoy. I enjoyed it for what it was. I thought it was a fun game. It's excellent for Harry Potter fans, like diehards. I like Harry Potter. Harry Potter's cool. Harry Potter's fun. You know, the game was enjoyable. I mean, there was aspects about it that left to be desired. John and I talked about that when we reviewed the game. But I mean, like John just said, you got to respect on what it did. I mean, it took over the world when it came out. So shout out to that. And it definitely got greenlit a sequel. So Hogwarts Legacy 2 at some point is going down. Number 9. This is one of mine that I threw in there, and that is Super Mario RPG. I know how much John hates remakes being in these categories, and that's why I wanted to include one just for John.
All the games that came out this year, and you couldn't even come up with 10 yourself that didn't include a remake.
That is, he's got such a great fair point, because another one that I threw in there was Metroid Prime Remaster.
It's like we've talked all year about how good this year has been for games, and you're like, yeah, one of the best top 10 games that came out this year is a fucking remake.
Listen. This game is near and dear to my heart, and that's why I wanted it in the top 10, because it really was one of those games where it's just like, never thought it would happen. I mean, Super Mario RPG has always been like lightly acknowledged by Nintendo here or there, but just due to the weird like control of the game from Square, not Square Enix, but Square and Nintendo from back in the day, it's always been kind of set in limbo. whenever it was Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars. So just the fact that this even happened is, I still personally can't believe it. It feels amazing. Playing it, it is everything that you would want out of a remake of a classic game like this. It feels incredible. This is a great RPG that I think, any RPG fan should check out, especially if you're just a fan of Mario. I mean, you'll have a blast with it. I mean, it's one of my favorite RPGs of all time. I grew up with this game, my favorite Super Nintendo game, still one of my favorite games of all time. So, just the fact that the remake happened, is enough for me to want this was my entry of like, I want this in the top 10. I'm a basic bitch. I want this in the top 10. This is my game. So shout out to Super Mario RPG, man. I still cannot believe that came out. I still look at the trailer every once in a while and I'm just like, I genuinely cannot believe this happened. I'm so thankful it did.
I mean, it came out solidly. It's still a great game. I know a lot of people have played it and everything, and even just the reworks of controls and everything,
Yeah.
bringing it up.
Yeah,
All looks fantastic.
man, it's clean as shit. Cannot recommend it enough. Now here's number 8, which I'm willing to bet this is the game that John was like, "What the fuck is this?" and had to look it up.
I didn't know what the fuck this was.
This is one of Zach's games. Zach, what do we got?
So this is the Arch Rhythm Final Bar line. It is the Final Fantasy rhythm game that I bought earlier this year. Yeah, no, it's an interesting take on a rhythm game because it's a mix of rhythm plus Final Fantasy elements. So, like a traditional rhythm game, you follow along with the beats and stuff to the Final Fantasy music. So you get to choose between which games soundtracks you want to go through, and more or less they stage it up in like travel maps, combat encounter maps, boss maps, and it has the whole RPG setup of you create a party, you choose skills, you can use items. It's a whole thing. It is a very in-depth rhythm game built around Final Fantasy.
Is this one that you just like you look through your list and you went, I'm gonna throw this one in just because it was that good, or just because more people need to know about it?
More people need to know about it, especially those people who like rhythm games, and just because of how. Because I initially picked it up because I went, oh, Final Fantasy rhythm game, cool, but just how in depth they went with it of just making it something that has the Final Fantasy RPG feel to it into a rhythm game, and they just didn't take the easy way and just threw some slapdash rhythm game with the Final Fantasy music on the back end.
Okay, all right, right on. He also had another rhythm game that was on your list originally. It's in our honorable mentions. That is a rhythm game, right? Based on the name, I'm assuming it is.
No.
Oh.
No, he's talked about that one.
Yeah, I talked about that too.
Okay.
No, I was like, coming in at number 7 here. This is a game that none of us actually played.
Yeah, okay.
But for me in particular, I swayed Alex of where I was like, this absolutely has to be on the list.
Okay,
Oh no,
so
he hit me up
I
on
hit
this
him
as
up
well as
too.
this, and I was just like, he's like, did you play this one? No, but it's on the list.
Okay, listen, yes. So
So,
out of
at
the
number 7, I'll just go real quick. We got Street Fighter 6.
Yeah. So
And,
this is the first time that we put a game in our top 10 that we have not played. And John basically swayed me in the extent of, while none of us have played it, these guys, I know John especially, has just taken in so much content of Street Fighter 6. That's all they need.
Yeah, I think what I said to him was, I may not have played Street Fighter 6, but I have watched more Street Fighter 6 content than we have played most of the games in the top 10.
Which that's saying something.
Because
I
I
mean,
mean, it's
it
like
is.
Street Fighter 6 is like it's a fantastic game, and it's like, having not played it, I could still say that because I don't typically get into the Street Fighter like games. I don't typically enjoy them that much. Street Fighter 6 is a fucking joy to watch. Like, the tournaments for this game are insane. And it's probably the single fighting game I've watched the most of this year. So it's like I gotta give it respect for what it's done, especially like when because the other thing is like all of the accessibility options they added into this game to make it, the amount of people that can play it, even more diverse is incredible. So it's like this is another one of those, you gotta respect what they've done.
Hats off to you. Yeah, like I said, this is the first time in the show's history when we've done these kind of lists where we included a game that we have not played. But it's like, look, it's one of those things, man. Like if you ingest enough content behind it, and like where you know the inside and outs of this game, you kind of played it to an extent.
Well, it's the other thing of the other thing with this one is it has the simplicity of being a fighting game.
Yeah,
So the fact that it's a fighting game, you can, even having not played it, if you're watched it, it gets, like you said, it gets to a point where you understand everything that's happening, having never had touched it. Like you could be watching it and you'll understand the combo strings as you see like them starting to be initiated. So it's been one of the most fun like games to watch this year.
so yeah, shout out to the fact that that made it to the list. I was kind of against it because I was just like, let's just keep it to games we played. But John's like, nah, listen, it needs to be on there. Zach made it short and sweet. Nope, haven't played it, but it needs to be on the list. I'm like, all right, okay, all right, fine. Coming in number 6, I think is one of the biggest surprises of the year, at least for John.
Yes, the one I pressured John into playing with me.
Yeah, the one that you bullied him
Fallen
into
Dynasty.
Okay,
Fallen
this-
Dynasty, baby, coming in at
I-
6.
I said this like pretty early on that I really had no interest in playing it. And then Zach said he wanted to play it, or he'd play it with me. So I was like, all right, fine, fuck it, we'll give it
I'll
a
fucking
shot.
try it, whatever.
And honestly, one of the biggest surprises of the year. It's like I don't think I would have enjoyed that game at all playing it solo. But the co-op nature of it, it's just one of those things where playing a game co-op sometimes just it changes everything about it and makes it more fun.
Yeah, it just changed the whole aspect, made it so much more fun. I mean, honestly, Alex, you still need to go back and play this because this would be a good sort of entry point besides like Liza P for you and Black Myth Wukong. But I mean,
I know.
overall, it is a Souls-like game. But me personally, I enjoyed in the particular time period it hits on the whole Three Kingdoms and everything. The actual system itself was
Which that
fairly
did,
intuitive and fun.
yeah, the time period, the weapon selection, everything that you go through, it definitely kind of helped with it because you didn't have anything too complex with it,
Yes.
and it was very clear. Like when you equipped a weapon, it's like, okay, I kind of understand what I'm going to be doing with this. So it wasn't, like you said, it was very intuitive with it, but very fun.
And which overall, with it, it is a Souls-like game, but it is done in more of a level type setup versus just open area, and just the overall scaling of each level, and even in the each sort of section of the levels of enemies, it chooses like, with the exception of a few surprises, like that damn cockatrice electric bird that jumped out at us. Um, it does have like a pretty good progression for people, even if they're not
there's
used to Souls like, just to
yeah, like
progress.
each time you start a new level, there tends to be the very clear you should head this direction path if you want to have an easier time of it, but you can do whatever the fuck you want. And sometimes you do that and you just beat your head against the wall for a little while.
And then overall, I mean, most of the boss fights we did, I enjoyed them. Even the awful skill check Lu Bu one, I mean, I still enjoyed it for the most part, just the
Yeah.
challenge of it.
A lot of it, yeah, a lot of the challenge for those boss fights came down to can I actually hit the counter, or can I hit it? Can I time it correctly? And because you get so many tries before where that could pick me up before the game's just like, no, you're done.
No more.
So yeah, none of them really felt like, even as someone who doesn't play the genre, like any sort of like of these Souls like type games, none of them felt too challenging to where we got to, and which was very good. The hardest, honestly, the hardest fight for me was the fucking tutorial boss.
Yeah,
It still remains true.
How many tries?
Oh, I don't
we
fucking
stopped
know.
counting.
It was like 3.5 hours.
Right.
It wasn't that long, but it
And
was it was
it,
about 2 hours.
I know it was over 2 hours because like it was like over an hour after you finished.
Yeah.
One of the biggest
But
surprises
even
this
with
year.
that, still a great game.
And it's on Game Pass.
Yes, it is still on Game Pass.
So if you're wanting to get into, try to get into the Souls formula before Black Myth comes out, like John and I, it could be a good entry point, as well as Lies of P, also on Game Pass. Shout out to that. So yeah, one of John's biggest surprises of the year, because there was different points like when we got to the summer and stuff where John would make comments just like, Wulong is still one of the best games I've played this year, and I didn't want to fucking play it.
That's because everything else I was excited for was shit.
Yeah, just kind of completely let you down. All right, coming in at number 5, we have Final Fantasy 16. Man, this game is just a it is just a visual spectacle. The music hits on just on a whole different level. Combat's incredible. The story is great. I mean, Final Fantasy 16. I mean, you'd kind of expect it making it. Shout out to the free DLC. Haven't played it, but the free, I think the first one was free. Right? Is the second one going to be free? Or the second one we paid? I don't remember.
I think they're
I thought they were both pay.
Are they
they're
both paid? I thought
yeah,
the first one was free.
Yeah, they're paid DLCs.
Oh, my
'cause
bad.
That was announced like shortly after the God of War one, which
I
that
was
one was
about to
free.
say the only
okay.
surprise that was of the DLC was that they were
It dropped
releasing
that
one of the
day.
two, dropping right that moment.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, yep, that's true. My fault.
You know what's funny about this game? I had a fun little thing with it with some of the VTubers I watched. I happened to catch one was playing Final Fantasy 16,
right.
and they were on the Odin fight. And just so happens while I was watching it, my father showed up and joined, and he starts watching and goes, I don't know what the hell's going on, but it looks nice with all the lights.
I mean, it's a visual spectacle, man. The game
Yeah.
looks incredible.
Yeah, a lot of like the big fights in the game. It's just it's like half of it. The first half of it is like actually a fight, and then it's just kind of like a button prompt cutscene.
Yeah.
Well, shit just goes wild, and they just go, "Look at what we can do."
Basically.
Quite literally.
I mean, it's like, I mean, the big boss fights are cool. It's like the big thing initially with this game was going to be the big kaiju battles and that, which turns out they're more just spectacle than anything. But the rest of the game is fantastic. Again, the combat in this game feels great. Because part of when I initially saw it, I immediately likened it to like Tales of Arise and the way that combat looked. Kind of similar to it, not exactly the same, but similar feel, which is great because another great combat system. And so, I mean, no surprise as well. Final Fantasy 16, some of the best voice acting of the year.
Oh yeah, for sure. A lot of people were thinking that Ben Starr could have won, best performance at the Game Awards.
Me. That was me.
Yeah. No, a lot of people thought that was a strong possibility.
I mean, I'm pretty sure with that voting, that was probably a very close voting race.
I think so. I mean, I really do. Between Ben, Yuri, and Neil, I think it was probably very close, at least in my opinion. But all right, so coming in at number 4, we have the finals, where it's as soon as this officially dropped at the Game Awards, both these guys were like, "All right, installing it. Let's go. Talk about it, guys."
Dude, I've been playing the shit out of this game.
I didn't even really need to install it. I still had my fucking beta stuff.
Yeah,
I was ready to go. I just had to update.
This is a game that I remember you originally talking about it, Zach, and I had no idea what the art style or thing was. I never looked at it, and I was like, "Yeah, it sounds interesting." And then later, I was like, "Oh, I'll give it a shot. I'll play it with him." This is one of the most fun shooters to come out in a long time.
Yeah, no, it's whole game show shooter extraction style it's going for just completely works and runs well, especially with the added chaos and verticality thinking of the destructible arenas
Mhm.
and just to the level that you can in fact destroy them. Because
Oh yeah.
now that
Honestly, the destruction of the environment and being able to destroy 95% of what's in that arena is what makes this game as good as it is.
Yes, and just the overall like physics, because now with it having been out for over a month now, you see the player base very much using that destructibility to their advantage more readily, and just seeing more of the physics of just how you can still traverse how the buildings have fallen on each other and whatnot, and not just like get stuck or clipped through, but the game actually taking an effect like, hey, this physics here now, you got to climb over it, and just being able to monkey your way up like a destroyed building through the pieces that have fallen down.
Oh yeah. So it's some of the best ways to move around because a lot of times like a destroyed corner of a building, nobody's really paying attention to it over there because everyone's just jumping through the open hole and getting in there. When you can just kind of climb your way up, snaking around, and nobody really looks. But yeah, the variation of the maps, some of them the variations aren't too much to it, where it's like it'll be more focused on like moving platforms on Seoul or something, for example. But then like Vegas probably has the biggest change in
Yeah,
actual
across its
map layouts,
variations.
which like just I don't know. I kind of that's one thing I want to see more of is more variations of some of the maps. Not even necessarily new maps, just variations to them because some of the variants are just way more fun to play on. But yeah, I mean this was one where I had no expectations when I played with you in the beta for the first time, and now one of my current favorite games to play.
If you still haven't checked out the finals, it's free. Go play it.
I've got it
Yeah.
downloaded on
You
Xbox,
get a
but I
free
haven't tried it
Christmas
yet.
bundle right now.
Oh, really? What's the bundle?
It's
Santa hat, ornament, grenade skin, a
the moment
single.
I didn't realize that the frag grenade had the Christmas ornament skin because I didn't pay attention to it. The moment I realized it, I got so happy.
All right, I'm gonna have to at least hop on there and get the bundle.
There's a
I've got it
sticker,
downloaded for Xbox, but I haven't tried it yet.
and then I think there's like a single audio sprite as well that comes in it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna play it eventually. I've got it downloaded. It's installed. It's ready to go. I almost installed it on PlayStation, but I can't remember. Maybe you guys might remember. I can't remember Sony's policy when it comes to free to play games and needing PlayStation Plus or not. Do you guys happen to know their policy when it comes to that? I don't remember. I know Xbox, if it's
It
free to play, you don't have to have
depends.
gold.
It depends because I know I used to play Realm Royale with my father and brother-in-law, and I didn't have PlayStation Plus.
Okay, so maybe
And
maybe
then
their policy, if it's free to play, you don't need a PlayStation
and then
Plus.
Genshin Impact, I was able to group up with people on that.
Okay, so maybe that's their policy then. Whatever. I mean, I installed on Xbox, but I wasn't sure of their policy, so that's why I got on Xbox since I have gold through Game Pass. Whatever. I knew I'd be good to play online. Whatever. All right. So before we get to the top three, because I feel like most people listening can probably take a very educated guess on what the top three are going to be. I feel like this is a good opportunity.
Yeah, we got some surprises for them.
Oh yeah, we really do. Dave the Diver, baby. Woo! But let's hit honorable mentions. Let's go through that because like I said, top three is probably pretty predictable. What the order will be, we'll see. But some honorable mentions, and boys, feel free to chat on any of these, and also feel free to add any more that's not listed here. So the first one, this is kind of a gray area. This is one of my pitches, and that's Cyberpunk 2.0.
I had to fucking talk about it, put this in the top 10.
Yeah, he did. Zach,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why was that talk?
Because yeah, for some
talked
reason
me out
he
of it.
was convinced that he could argue for this. And I was like, the game didn't fucking come out this year.
My freaking sneak one you actually officially released this year.
I know. That's why it was kind of in a gray area.
Not even a gray area. This is just you wanted to put it on
I
here because
did.
you like the game.
It's Cyberpunk.
I did. I wanted to put it in there. Cyberpunk 2.0. Shout out to it. Omega Strikers. That got its official release this year. Honestly, this probably would have made the top 10, but I kind of opted against it because the game is no longer getting content going forward, which is unfortunate, but it's still going to be active, to play for a while. Like
It's still being updated currently, just no new content's planned to come out at this time.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a really fun like air hockey game. What would you call it? Air hockey with abilities. I mean,
Yeah,
I
MOBA
mean,
air hockey.
MOBA air
Like,
hockey. I mean, come on, sounds great.
came out of nowhere, and of course, it naturally blew up.
Yeah, I'm really bad at it, but I enjoyed playing it. Next up, we had Stray Gods, the role-playing musical. Zach's talked about this one before. So shout out to it.
I mean, if you like musicals and you like sort of a choose your own adventure narrative, only sort of like Telltale games,
Yep.
definitely check this out.
Another honorable mention that whenever the game came out, a lot of people were trashing it, but then Zach over here is just like, the more I play it, the more I think this game is going to be missed,
Nope.
and that is Exoprimal.
No, I fucking hated this game.
Because you didn't play enough, and I mean,
I did. It was okay. Okay, here's the thing. Granted, you made a good point that the more you play it, the better the game gets. My point with it was very straightforward. Of make the game where I want to play more of it and don't have to play more of it.
Well, I mean, I give it to him because it was all associated with the story. So
Yeah.
it follows a storyline, which actually the story progresses. You unlock the more content and everything else. And
Yeah.
currently, it's in its third set, I believe, because it's currently doing its Monster Hunter collab.
Yeah.
Did
I
it
will
have a
say
Street Fighter
that
collab,
I
or did
didn't.
Street Fighter have an Exoprimal collab?
Street Fighter, Exoprimal had a Street Fighter collab, so you had
Okay.
suits that looked like Street Fighter characters:
Okay.
Guile, Chun-Li, and Ryu.
Yeah. I will say I didn't actually hate this game. That was a joke. But no, this game it was just underwhelming to me because my whole thing with it was just the game, like the gameplay didn't feel engaging enough for what I wanted from it. There just wasn't enough happening really to make me want to play more with it.
And I can very much see that because the initial opening sets of the game is very repetitive because a lot of the content is still locked behind the story progression.
But it was one of those where I'm like, even while I was playing it, I was like, this is not for me, but I understand why people will enjoy this.
I mean, it's still got at least a steady player base on, I know, Xbox and PC currently. So
I mean, yeah, it being on Game Pass helps it tremendously. I feel like this is one of those games that if it came out without that extra boost, of player base, this game would have really fell flat in its face potentially, just because no one would want to check it out. Even if it is a game that can be really fun, no one would want to spend the money on it. So next up, we had Pikmin 4, which Zach had at number 1 on his list.
Robbed by Alex.
I was just like, did you even play it? He's like, no, but it's the best game of this year. I'm just like, all right, it's going to honorable mention. Because at least
Alex,
with Street Fighter 6.
I have a flag. I planted the flag. This is my year to wave it. I'm not going to be able to wave it again for God knows how long.
Listen, if it was a situation like Street Fighter 6 where I knew you guys at least ingested a lot of content, all right, I'll hear you out. But you didn't even play the demo. At least I played the demo.
I have a flag. I planted it.
Hey, we're planting the flag in the honorable mentions. So shout out to Pikmin 4. Best-selling Pikmin game.
Fucking tyrant over here.
Next up, we got Reverse 1999, a gacha mobile game that Zach started playing. It came out, I think it was October. I think it's in October or November. Zach's been playing that, having fun with that one. Got a lot of interesting little different events inside of the slasher one you showed me. It looked pretty cool. Yes. So having fun with that one.
The second half of that just started this week. I mean, overall, it is a fantastic gacha game. It is very, some of the appeals to it is like, the overall story is actually very well written. Character designs are actually very different from a lot of gacha games, where a lot of people know gacha games as the waifu roulette. Whereas this one, I mean, it still has waifu characters, but there is a fair amount of different designs. For instance, like there's Jessica that just currently came out with a new banner, who's literally a deer woman.
Yeah.
And not just some busty, lightly clad, dressed person.
Mm-hmm.
And just unique characters, and just overall, one of the big things with this game that a lot of people are noting is just for a gacha game, a lot of people are actually playing it in English voiceover versus Japanese, which is what most people traditionally lean towards.
Yeah.
Because the large community, I just constantly see people saying like the English voices are good.
Hey, that's a good thing. That's great. Speaking of like gacha games that are like like better known as like the waifu games, whatever. I finally actually jumped into Tarkov not long ago.
Hey,
It's I don't have much of an opinion on it yet. Because man, did it really just beat you down with some videos at the start, and I'm just like,
I heard. That's what someone told me. I was like, oh shit.
I just want to play the damn game. Like, let me get past these damn videos. The game's updated. Let me get past it, please. So I'll keep trying on that one. Shout out to Talk Op Destiny, great anime. Next up, we have another game that just came out this year, mobile game on PC and everything of the sort. We have Honkai Star Rail. Shout out to that one. Get an honorable mention here.
Definitely fun game if you were curious about Hoyo versus games, but in like Genshin style of sort of the open world action. This is an open world turn based, so
yeah. Another game that I kind of am surprised Zach didn't put on his initial list because of how much like he kind of like was really excited when it came out. Not excited, but just enjoyed it when it came out, and that's Hi-Fi Rush. I feel like it definitely deserved it as an honorable mention this year.
I mean, most definitely, it was another Shadow Drop game that was something that we didn't know we needed, but turned out fantastic.
Yeah.
Rhythm beat 'em up game.
And shout out to the studio. They talked about this game after it came out with the huge reception that it had, and they openly admitted, hey, you know, that being like shadow dropped and everyone playing and loving it gave us a huge confidence boost in what we can do. That's always a good thing. I'm glad they took the time, made a dope ass game. Everyone loved it, and they gave them confidence boost. And we'll see what they do next. So shout out to that. The last one that I had mentioned was Metroid Prime Remastered. Phenomenal game on the GameCube, one of the best GameCube games. One of the, honestly, in terms of like, let's say Metacritic scores and stuff, still one of the best games of all time in terms of scoring. Phenomenal game that kind of, you know, completely changed the Metroid franchise and how it's played. Remaster is incredible. Definitely pick it up. It's fantastic. Boys, do you guys have any other honorable mentions that you would like to shout out that I did not have listed?
Liza P.
Shout
I was thinking about this.
Yeah.
As we were going through it. Liza P. I haven't made it very far in the game, for obvious reasons. I'm not good at these games yet. But from what I've played of the game, like story-wise was interesting, combat-wise was fantastic, and the setting is actually really interesting. I wasn't very much enjoying what I played. I just got frustrated and had to take a break from it for a little bit.
That's
You're gonna
fair.
have an awesome time with Romeo or
What?
Romero.
Uh,
It's an in-game boss.
But yeah, the game itself, like I've seen nothing but great things from it, from people talking about it, and from what I had played of it, it was very fun. And I do plan on revisiting it.
Let's see. I can't think of anything else. I guess the only thing for an honorable mention I can think of is, hey, look, Lucario's entered the show, is WWE 2K23, my GM mode. Fantastic there. I put a
Why
lot.
did that not get on the list?
It's just a
I put
wrestling
it
game.
at number 3, man.
It's just a wrestling game at the end of the day.
I don't care about the wrestling game. I literally put GM
I know.
mode.
I'm aware of how you specified it.
Yeah. We can't put like, can't put that on there. But he was arguing for fucking Cyberpunk.
I know. My bad. Okay, maybe I made some mistakes. My fault. Okay, I'm also the host of a terrible football show. What do you expect? Trash takes and opinions is what I'm known for. My
No,
bad.
I expected you to sneak in Mass Effect somewhere, but hey.
yeah. Snuck it in somehow, some way. Find some roundabout way. Yeah, Mass Effect's in the top 10. It came out on this year for whatever I would try to argue. Some dumb shit. All right, let's get to the top 3. Let's wrap the top 3 and kind of move on. All right, so for 2 and 3, all right, I'm going to be very transparent. Was very tough to figure out the order I wanted to do with these.
It's easy.
Yeah, I know it's easy for you. It was tough for me because like I enjoyed these games both equally. I spent more time on the third game because there's just more content. But both these games being sequels of other great games, but these were, in my opinion, safe sequels. While they're original versions of these games, like the first ones, one felt really fresh to the franchise. The other one completely changed the open world genre. These just felt like safe sequels. So I ultimately just took on which one I ultimately just had the better enjoyment with to figure out who goes at 2. So at number 3, I threw in Tears of the Kingdom. Love Zelda. there's I think my third or fourth copy of Tears of
Yeah,
the Kingdom.
this is his game.
Yeah, I gave it to him to play because I knew it was going to be the only way he'd play it. Tears of the Kingdom, look, it is incredible. Okay, I mean they over delivered on what they were promising, in my opinion, with all the depths and stuff, because they were so adamant, like, we're going to the skies, we're going to the skies, and there was really no talk of the depths. And then there's this entire, 1-to-1 remake of the size of the world underground to also explore, as well as on top of with the sky stuff. The game runs great. Ultra Hand, like, there are so many different ways that you can handle any situation, to the point I forget, oh yeah, I'm having trouble, I can just use Ultra Hand and just build a 74-foot long bridge to get across this with nothing but tree limbs and logs or whatever. Like, there are so many different ways to handle every single situation. Like, the story is so much better. I mean, this was a far and above better than Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild probably still feels better to a lot of people because it was that new game that changed the open world genre. Everyone's been trying to copy it. But, like, this is far and above, in my opinion, better than Breath of the Wild, because it nailed the one element that I look for, and that's just like a lot more captivating story, more challenging puzzles, stuff like that. I loved this game personally. I think, John, you played this a lot more than you played Breath of the Wild. I mean, you didn't beat it.
Yeah, this game ran better than Breath of the Wild on my Switch.
Yeah, it's shocking that Breath of the Wild ran as shitty as it did for you.
But no, I mean, it's like I gotta give the game props. It's like, well, it's still not my preferred style of a Zelda game. I prefer the like I prefer the older, or like the games from like 64 GameCube era, kind of. The full open world. I will say as well, it's like, just a small tangent here. I fucking hate what Breath of the Wild has done for the open world genre of games.
that's totally a fair take. I'm not even gonna call that a hot take.
I hate the fact that it was so successful that everybody tries to copy it.
Yeah.
Because there's several games that I've bought and played where they completely redid the game in an update to make it more Breath of the Wild like, and I'm like, you had something good. Why did you do this?
Right.
But no, it's like, you got to give the game props for what it did. It's like, I honestly didn't have as much fun with Breath of the Wild. I played Tears of the Kingdom a lot more than I expected to. I expected to play it for like 5 hours and drop it.
That's what I expected.
That's what I was doing at that time of the year.
Yeah.
I was playing every game for 5 hours and then playing something different. But no, I actually put a decent amount of time into this game. I enjoyed it up to a point, and then it kind of had that point for me that I knew was coming, where I put it down. I was like, I don't feel like going back to it now.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll change, but it's like, again, this is one of those games that took over the world when it came out. It's like, all I was seeing for a couple weeks after the game came out was just videos of creations that people were making in the game.
True.
It's like, nobody gave a shit about the story, really. Everybody just cared about what crazy invention they could make.
My favorite one that I've seen, and it was more of a recent one, I saw it within the last month, I think, was someone made Godzilla, where he was invading the town over that's at the beach, whatever. The beach town, he's walking up on shore. They've got him firing lasers and everything. It's like,
that's funny.
Like, how the hell do you do this? Like, it's so good.
Tears of the Kingdom is one of the best games of the year. It's a top 3 game of the year. Even if the story's whatever, or even if the story was whatever, it's like, the story is one of the things you don't hear talked about with the game very much, because this game gave people what they wanted from it, which was creativity and the ability to play it how they wanted to, and it delivered on that more so than it did on anything else.
Yeah. And just, I mean, top to bottom, I mean, the team nailed it on this. It coming in at 3. I mean, I honestly feel like 2 and 3 are a legitimate flip of the coin, in my opinion, just depending on personal preference. It really is. And that is, coming in number 2, I do have Spider-Man 2. There is a little part of me that put this at 2. So for once in Spider-Man's release history, it's not third place to something, because that was the first game behind God of War and Red Dead 2, and now it's this year behind Tears of the Kingdom and Baldur's Gate 3. So I wanted to give it a chance to not be third place for once. But I mean, ultimately, when I look back at my time of 100%ing Spider-Man 2, my first platinum ever on PlayStation, shout out to that, and completely beating Tears of the Kingdom. I didn't finish all the shrines, but I mean, did all of the major stuff. There's like 152 shrines. I think I've done like 115. I've done an incredible amount of content with Tears, but between the two, just top to bottom throughout the game, my personal overall enjoyment, I couldn't put Spider-Man 2 down. I mean, like, I played more hours of Tears because there is technically more content. It's a full open world game. You do everything, right? I mean, I think I put about 120 hours into Tears of the Kingdom in basically like a 4 or 5 day weekend or something like that. Spider-Man, I had a 3-day weekend, and it was one of those games similar to when John talked about Ragnarok last year, where it's like he sat down and like would play the game for like 12 plus hours straight. That was me with Spider-Man, where like I sat down in my chair and my ass did not get up unless I had to take a piss for basically 12 plus hours straight. I mean, the amount of hook that Spider-Man 2 did for me, like, look, Tears of the Kingdom is a lot bigger game. I had like a 4 or 5 day weekend to play it. Still did not beat the game in that 4 or 5 day weekend. Spider-Man 2, I could not put the game down, and I 100% it in the opening weekend that it came out, which I don't think I've ever done for a game. I can't think of another game I've ever been hyped for where I 100% it in the weekend it released. I personally can't. You know, so that alone kind of tipped it for me personally that, okay, I think I overall just really enjoyed this game more.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Man 2, it really just kind of took everything that came from uh like Spider-Man, the first one, and it didn't necessarily change anything. It didn't do anything different necessarily. It took it and just added on a little bit to each aspect of it, really. Like the abilities that you get, the way you traverse the world, being able to switch characters and stuff. It's not a ton of changes that they actually made, or it doesn't feel like it when you're playing the game necessarily. It's just enough to feel different and enough to have improved it to where it's like you kind of get this. It's almost like trying to emulate the feeling you had from playing Spider-Man the first time.
Yeah.
When it came out,
Breath
is
of fresh air
they
kind of thing.
improved enough on it and added enough to try to give you that feeling again.
Yeah.
Which works.
Yeah.
It's all you really need, because you can't go too bold with it, because you know you got another game to make after it. You gotta leave some room there to make add some new stuff in for that one.
Yeah, and keep growing. No, you know what? That is honestly one really great way to put the game, is that, like, you know, playing the first one's like, it just felt like it was a fresh experience to a fairly stale-ish Spider-Man franchise of video games, right? Like there's some bangers in there, but let's be honest, there's a lot of turds in the Spider-Man gaming universe. So you nailed it on the head when you talked about this game gave you the chance to recreate that feeling, because like literally as soon as the game, like, you get thrown into it, like immediately just like you immediately get that fresh feeling. It's like, oh my god, yes, let's go. So yeah, that's actually a great way to put it that I haven't even thought about. I mean, it nailed it in that regard.
Yeah.
And then coming in at number
We
one,
got coming in number one.
no surprise.
You've heard about it. You've seen it. You know everything about it, probably.
I had been waiting on this game to come out for like 3.5, 4 years, ever since it was announced. Baldur's Gate 3 finally released this year in August. And my god, did this game explode like no one thought it would. And the biggest thing that this game did is it, like, everybody's been saying it for years about how a lot of games come out, they have problems with them. They need to be fixed over the course of 6 months or a year before they come out. More than anything, Baldur's Gate 3, with how big, how open, how just expansive the game is, showed how you can have a team create one of the greatest games to ever come out, and it just work.
Yeah.
And the amount of player freedom that they allowed is incredible.
Yeah, they really more or less took the old tabletop RPG of can you imagine it and can you think of it and can you pull it off and put that in the game, which allowed for some insane ways to just completely skip sections of the game, beat bosses. People have done an atrocious amount of different things that in a normal circumstance you'd be like, I would never think of that.
Oh yeah, I've seen clips come out of this game where like sections I've gone through where the people just did some wacky shit with it, and I was like, that's incredible that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like the amount of choice that they allowed the players to have, and at the end of the day, it's a fantastic game that the developers made specifically for the player to enjoy. And that's one of the like biggest things about it is it was a game made to be enjoyed however you want to, which we don't get a lot these days.
No.
Not really.
I know when I saw people like talking about the game in terms of just like the amount of freedom and the amount of like, the stuff that you can do and how everything kind of like, well, everything's kind of important and everything will kind of tie together, whatever. I saw it was it was the arguments of Baldur's Gate versus whatever game. And someone's just like, I told some kid like I thought he could be a good thief, and then that actually came back and became important 70 hours later. I don't think that's going to happen in any other game. It's just like that little domino effect that you can do in Baldur's Gate where it's like you do one little action 70 hours later, that whatever you did comes back and it's like, oh, I forgot I did that 70 hours ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, like it's stuff like that I enjoy, like looking at it from afar because obviously I have not played very much of it, but just seeing all the stories, seeing people talk about it and everything, it's just like it's little stuff like that I love because I love games with a lot of choice and it lets you like mold the story to be your own. I love that shit. So like if something as simple as like, hey kid, I think you could be a great thief one day, and then 70 hours later it's like he becomes a great thief, like that's awesome. Like that's funny. That's hilarious. That's 10 out of 10.
I will say one of the best things coming out of Baldur's Gate 3 with the success that it actually has is now everyone knows about Larian Studios.
True.
Yes.
Everybody knows the caliber of games that they can produce, which they've been doing. It's just the games that they made weren't it was
They were
games that
seen more
weren't.
niche.
Yeah, it's like they're very more niche games. And honestly, Baldur's Gate 3
Just still
blew up into
technically
the
niche.
world because it's still their niche style of game that they like to make. It's
Yeah.
just everybody heard about it, and it was just like that domino effect of people saw people playing it, and they were like, "Holy shit, this game looks incredible!" And then everyone started doing it. But yeah, now more than anything, it's just what the next project that Larian takes on is gonna have all of the eyes on it. Everybody's gonna be looking at it because now the world knows what they can do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that is the big takeaway from this is like all eyes are on Larian now, which is a good thing. Good thing for the studio because they have continuously delivered. Time and time again. So that's great for the studio. So
Just shout out as well because call back to our like 50 games you absolutely need to play list. If you haven't looked it up yet and you want another Larian Studios fantastic game, Divinity Original Sin 2, you can pick up. It is their last game that they made, also fantastic.
yeah.
And it is the game that people debate about which one is better.
And
Hey,
if you really want to take a step back, there's also Divinity Original Sin, also done by Larian.
yep.
Yeah, it plays very differently.
Yeah, it's a bit rough, but I mean, if you want to take a
Yeah,
dip
it's
back into the
If
time
you want to
capsule,
go, if you want to go
if you want
through
to see
history
where
a
they
little
came
bit,
from.
yeah, if you want to take a little step through history and see how much they've evolved, that's your opportunity.
still a
yeah.
fantastic game though.
Oh yes, I haven't finished it, but it's still a good game. It's just you can see the improvements that they made upon it, like from Original Sin 2 and now to Baldur's Gate. But yeah, it's super excited to see them move on to their next game. Hoping it's Divinity 3, but we'll see.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
They're gonna
Whatever
take
it
some
is,
time
it's
to
like,
themselves for a
hey,
little bit.
I was about to say, with as you said, everyone being on Larian now, and them having done what they did with the Baldur's Gate property. I mean, they really wanted to. They could probably snatch up another property that no one's touched in a while.
true.
I think they've said that after Baldur's Gate they were gonna go back to Divinity.
Makes sense though.
Yeah,
But
it does.
it would be it. The other thing is if they were to get their hands on another property, man, I hope they like turn-based CRPGs because that's what Larian makes.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it's gonna be.
Yeah, that's their thing, man.
It's like they've developed their own engine, their own style of making the game, and I mean, they're the masters of it for a reason, and now everyone knows.
Well, that wraps up our top 10. So that's another top 10 games in the year wrapped up. We started doing this list last year, of course, and now this is the second year of doing it. And honestly, for next year, for 2024, I personally would really love to further expand on games of the year sort of thing. I'm hoping to. I mean, that's we'll see. It just depends on how this year's goes, but I would really love to expand upon it. But you know, in terms of how we celebrate the games, but top 10 games of the year from Gamesthetic. So number 1, Baldur's Gate 3. Number 2, Spider-Man 2. 3, Tears of the Kingdom. 4, The Finals. 5, Final Fantasy 16. 6, Wolong Fallen Dynasty. 7, Street Fighter 6. 8, Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line. 9, Super Mario RPG. And 10, Hogwarts Legacy.
I could guarantee you no one else will have this list of 10.
That is correct. No one else will have this exact list. So that is very correct. That's what makes us stand out. That's what makes us unique.
This is probably the first time that we've done this where like our top in our top 3 is like actually the 3 best games that came out in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that actually follows the
Because
rest of
normally
the world.
Yeah.
normally we don't play the best games that come out
I
of
was
the
about
year.
to say,
True.
I don't even remember what the heck our top 3 last year was, but I know they were out there.
Actually, I've got it right here because I have a Discord channel for it that we did not use for this.
I was looking at it.
So last year we had God of War Ragnarok number 1. We had Pokemon Scarlet and Violet at number 2.
I'm pretty sure that was me.
We had
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was you.
we had Marvel Snap at 3. Horizon
Yep.
Forbidden West at 4. Digimon Survive at 5. Digimon Survive came out in 2022?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Triangle Strategy at 6. That came out in 2022? Oh,
Yep.
man. Okay. Citizen Sleeper, Mortuary Assistant, Multiverses, and As Dusk Falls. Which, in hindsight, I don't know if Multiverses should have made that because, like, that wasn't its official release. So that might have
Which
been
they
on
were-
that might have been our
they-
bad.
Well, they weren't very
Clear with that.
They didn't
They-
explain that very well
Yeah.
Well,
because no
they-
one knew it.
Go ahead.
Because no one knew it was actually just a open beta. They just said, "Hey, Multiverse is out,"
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't tell anyone it was an open beta until like 3 months later.
and then they cucked us all.
Which, you know, and looking at last year's list, there's a lot of games on there that people probably would not play normally. So that's
It's how we make lists.
that's how we make lists. That's what we do.
I'm on. Be honest, I forgot I got that many in there.
Yeah. Looking back on it.
It was a weird year.
Yeah, it was. So
Oh shit, Harvestella was an honorable mention.
yeah, you made that an honorable mention for us. Our honorable mentions for last year was Lost Ark. Oh yeah, Lost Ark. Forgot about that
Yeah,
era for
yeah.
John. Harvestella, Sonic Frontiers, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and Nobody Saves the World, and then Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. God, dude, 2022 feels like forever ago. Looking at all these
Weird
games,
fucking list.
man. John,
Yeah.
when was the last time you touched Lost Ark?
I could actually tell you probably.
Has that era come to a complete close
September
for
2nd, 2022.
you? Oh my gosh. Okay, so that era has come to an official close.
Oh yeah, no, that game, it's like I played the shit out of that for
You went for like a good while.
I went for like 6 months and then stopped.
Totally forgot that game was even a thing. Is it still popping? I haven't heard
Yeah.
anything about it. I guess it's not on my timeline.
It's still there. It's kind of whittled down to its like kind of core people that continue to play it.
Oh, okay.
But
Because I
yeah,
mean, it just had a decent size update not too long ago.
yeah, they still do all of the updates for it.
Which, speaking of games that we talk about that's gotten updates, Naraka just released a new character and weapon.
Okay.
I was
Nice.
actually looking at that on Game Pass the other day.
I gotta throw in my Naraka stuff in there from time to time.
Yeah, just kind of shout it out. Make sure that people don't forget about it. Hey, Zach loves this game. He plays it a lot.
I was half tempted to download it and just open it up and be like, I wonder how long it takes Zach to notice.
It depends. It would depend if I was looking at my computer or not.
Oh shit. All right. I didn't have anything else for main talking points. Did you guys have anything in particular that you wanted to chat about? Any maybe new stuff, things you played, things you've seen, anything of the sort?
I mean, when going back through to make my list, there was a couple things I did note that I do need to go back and play. Like, there's a random ass Switch game called Master Detective Archives Raincode. It's the game that's done by the Danganronpa developers that was shown back in the Game Awards of 2022 and sort of was shown and never talked about again. Got solid ratings and everything. Just need to go back and play it. That came back out in June.
Mhm.
And then there was that one random ass game, Crime Boss Rocky City.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
It got bashed. It got bashed.
Well, yeah,
but I
because
mean,
everyone talked about like how like it's not a game. Like the gameplay sucks. Like they focus so much on having a great cast that the gameplay is terrible.
And I guess they fixed it because I saw that again. I was like, I remember this being shit. And I
Yeah.
went back and looked into it the other day. And it had now some at least on Xbox and a few other sites I came, decent reviews of people going like, it's not a great game,
Right.
but it is actually a good time for what you're worth, because it's a weird, apparently Payday-esque roguelite.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at it, and I was just like, this looks more entertaining than I remember people reviewing it. So I've apparently missed something since it came out. I mean, those are the only two that sort of caught my eye while I was going through what this year was.
Yeah. The only other thing that I would say out there, just to not, we don't have to necessarily talk about, but I just wanted to shout it out because it all like really, really went down in the time that we were off for the holiday. Is man, straight up like, fuck the leakers for the Insomniac stuff. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like, look, look. We talk about leaks on the show. Okay, I get excited about leaks. I'm not gonna sugarcoat any of that shit. One of our title topics in last episode was the possibility of a Spider-Verse game, right? Like, you know, I will touch on leaks and talk about leaks. Sue me, I'm sorry, but when you start leaking out personal information, that's where I'm like, all right, what are we doing? Like now you're being a straight asshat. So I mean that's just. Like and then not to mention even the personal information, but the fact that there is a playable build of Wolverine out there, like, dude, like that's unreal to me that happened. That people are out there playing Wolverine, modding Wolverine, you know, continuing to build Wolverine on their own. That's just that part's insane to me. So fuck that whole situation. That is insane. And I do know that based on anyone who downloaded the build, Sony is able to track that, and you are getting hit with copyright. I'm just be aware of that. You will get hit. They are coming for you. They will knock on your door. I've already seen like the file that will come out about like, hey, we know what you fucking did. So anyone who downloads it, Godspeed. You're gonna need it. You're gonna need some serious luck. You might end up like that kid who did all the Rockstar hacking. All right, did you guys follow that situation at all? By the way,
Nope.
oh my God, this kid. I don't know if we need to be impressed by the kid or disappointed by Take-Two and Rockstar Security. Okay, so this is, you know, the hacking group that this kid worked for that hacked that leaked all the GTA 6 stuff, like not the trailer, not the recent leak,
Yeah.
you know, but the original one. This kid, you know, also was part of the famous NVIDIA leak that we've referenced quite a bit, as well as another leak for another big gaming company, but I don't remember what. So he was already like caught and on like probation and under watch, laptop taken away, all of that shit. Dude, this kid with an Amazon Fire Stick in a hotel room, hacked Take-Two and Rockstar to get all the files for GTA 6. I don't know if we should be impressed by this kid or disappointed with Take-Two and Rockstar security, because that is unreal to me. An Amazon Fire Stick in a hotel into a TV? Dude, like,
I'd be
that's
more impressed
insane.
with the kid.
I would say it probably just goes to show that however he did it the first time, they never figured out.
Yeah, they never
Because
fixed it.
he probably just did the exact same thing.
That's so impressive, but also so disappointing at the same time. Like, oh my Lord. So now, like, the update on that kid is that he has been ruled to basically be in a mental hospital for the rest of his life until he is deemed no longer a threat to society, because he has openly admitted, yeah, if you fucking let me out, I'm gonna hack shit again. Like, he's just like, I don't care, I'm gonna keep doing it, I'm not stopping.
I mean, he's got a fix.
Yeah, that's his fix. So, man, that is wild. Amazon Fire Stick into a hotel TV. Jesus Christ. All right, so the only other thing I wanted to throw in there, in case anyone wanted to throw anything out, do you boys have any general New Year's resolutions or gaming New Year's resolutions? I know New Year's resolutions are kind of bullshit. I'll agree to that completely, but I still want to throw it in there in case anyone had anything. If not, no big deal. Just wanted to ask.
The only thing I'm gonna try to do in 2024 is gonna be gaming related.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I have
I'm
something.
going to try to finish fucking games that I start.
Boom, me too. That's my big goal.
Did you actually finish a game besides Spider-Man 2 this year?
Me or John?
Spider-Man 2.
I was asking John.
Okay.
I didn't
You
finish
didn't even
Spider-Man 2.
Shit.
Did I finish a game?
I thought you at least finished God of War.
That was last year.
Yeah, it was last
Oh
year.
shit, that was last year.
And he hasn't started
Oh.
Valhalla either, and that's just an expansion.
I thought you had finished at least one, John.
Vamp for a little bit.
You almost beat Redfall.
I did
Well-
almost beat Redfall.
That's sad.
My one gaming New Year's resolution I would like to attempt, if I get the ability to, would do a marathon run of all the Persona games.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Since I have all of them just sitting in a closet back there.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I gotta follow up with John on that. My big gaming resolution is actually finish games that I pick up, because man, the list of shit that I bought this year, and a couple of them didn't even play, like, at all. Never even played it once. I just bought it and just have it. Like, dude, the list is outstanding. Like, dude, there's too many games that I bought and did not beat. So, like, off the top of the dome, and this is kind of just going through the calendar year: One Piece Odyssey, Forspoken, Fire Emblem Engage, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Dead Island 2. Never even touched that game. Bought it, never played it. Did beat Tears of the Kingdom. Shout out to that. Did not finish Final Fantasy 16. Diablo 4, barely touched it. Let's see. Haven't finished Cyberpunk 2.0. I haven't finished Super Mario RPG, but I've gotten a lot of playtime on it. Let's see. Baldur's Gate 3, so that's up to 11. I mean, dude, the list can keep going. That one random RPG that I bought, Loop 8, which that game is just booty cheeks.
Oh,
I
that
mean,
shit show.
Look, so it's such great concepts to the game, but dear Lord, the game runs like complete booty cheeks. I mean, it is horrible. It's so bad at how it runs. Tried Immortals of Avium. I did not buy it. Thankfully, they have like a full demo out for it. It's all right, as I expected it would be. Dude, the list goes on, man. So many games I've bought that I have not
Yeah,
played.
I've given up on that since I retro collect. Like hell, I just bought a copy of God's Hand the other day. I'm probably never gonna touch that for a while.
Right.
To answer I didn't beat a single game this year.
Shit.
And actually, you know what? I beat 3 games this year. I beat Spider-Man 2, Tears of the Kingdom, and I forgot. This year, of course, is when I first played Persona 5 Royal, and I beat that. So it's 3 games I've beat this year. Only 2 new games. So I bought a ton of new games this year, and did not beat them. Very disappointed in myself on that one. So big goal for this year is to beat games that I buy, or at least come close enough. At least come like close enough where it's like I've experienced most of the game, and not just play. I don't want to buy a game and play 5 hours and never touch it again. I'm tired of that shit. I want to actually play these games. So the first step trying to get over that hurdle is going to be Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. So
The
hopefully
game I got the
hopefully that
closest
goes
to
well.
beating this year was Redfall.
Yeah, I figured that for you. As sad as that is,
It's the closest I got to beating a game this year.
that's so unfortunate.
I'm just scrolling through. I don't think at the end that I didn't beat any of these.
Yeah,
I played a lot of games. Played a lot. I played like 70% on a lot of games.
right. Yeah, I mean that's my big gaming New Year's resolution. In terms of New Year's resolutions, I don't really have anything. I guess just like the basic shit that anyone would have. Try to eat a little bit better, stuff like that. Basic shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm
I
good on that as well.
I will say in terms of like content though, I do have plenty of goals for this year. And one of them I have involving Gamesthetic. Should be starting tomorrow over at TikTok at Sparky3Official. So make sure to go follow Sparky3Official, and you can follow me on a journey that I hopefully will not fall flat on my face on. So shout out to that. But boys, you got anything else? If not, we can hit the weekly wrap up and get out of here and go into the new year.
I got nothing.
Get out of here.
All right, bet. All right, weekly wrap up. All right, so first off, that dick boy Bobby Kotick is officially gone from Activision Blizzard, and people have rejoiced. I saw a tweet from a senior WoW designer. The exact tweet said, "Eat shit, Bobby Kotick, you pathetic ghoul. Waste the millions you didn't earn from people whose talents and light you will never understand." I saw another tweet from Jez Corden, who writes for like involving like Microsoft stuff, where he said, "I have not seen a single comment from an Activision Blizzard employee that was positive about Bobby," where he's just like, I don't think Microsoft realizes fully 100% how much Bobby was a plague to Activision Blizzard. Fascinating stuff. Just how much this was like the most hated man on the planet for these people. So shout out to that dick butt being gone. It's just unfortunate he's getting out with a big payday. Piece of shit. Anyway, next up, Lies of P sequel is to apparently be made with Unreal Engine 5 per job listing found. So shout out to that.
Well, that's gonna look amazing.
Facts. Got a couple of things involving in some famous Nintendo creators here. Miyamoto confirms that he has no plans to retire. In fact, when he was kind of diving into that more, he's talked about how he has no plans to retire, and he's more so worried. He's not worried about retirement. He's more so worried about like, man, whenever I fall over and die, who's gonna be able to take up my torch? He's like he has no plans to retire. He just wants to keep going until he literally falls over in studio and dies.
Like freaking champ.
What a beast. Speaking of another beast, Sakurai also confirmed on his YouTube channel that he is still working on games. There was a big question mark on if he was going to retire or not, and go off on the ultimate swan song that was Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
He's working on games. He's not working on Smash.
Yeah, it did not clarify what, but he said that he's still working on games. There was a kind of a big question mark on if he was going to retire, but sounds like he's not done just yet. And honestly, I'm willing to bet Smash is on a stable, unfortunately, for him. I bet it is. I bet you anything he's gearing up for the next Smash, even though he doesn't want to.
He's got to take some time to make something that he actually wants to make.
Yeah, maybe another Kid Icarus game. That's
he's
not
gotta,
like a
he's
weird
got to
way
make
to
him
play.
something that he's got to make his passion project, and then he'll probably get talked into doing it again.
Basically,
or at least he'll oversee someone else doing it.
He'll get an open checkbook, and that's going to be enough for Smash Ultimate. Or the next Smash, like just the biggest, fattest checkbook possible. It's like just his name written on it, blank box for the amounts. Like write whatever you want, just make the game. Anyway, so I thought this was like this next one was kind of interesting. Of like why a team of modders are working on an offline version of The Day Before.
Because Alex, they want to see the game that the world imagined but never received.
Basically, I mean, if they can fix it, kudos.
Well, the other thing is there is a very small select group of people that liked the concept that the game ended up being, and genuinely wanted to see improvements on it, which is understandable. The genre that it ended up being is a fun like genre of game. But it's gonna take a lot to make that into a good game.
Facts. Hey, if modders can do it, kudos, I guess. All right, so next up, a Microsoft patent was found for a handheld gaming device, which features detachable controller similar to Joy-Cons and a foldable screen like a Samsung Fold. Now, in the big Microsoft leak that happened recently, there was, talk of a handheld device in that they were kind of working on their own Switch essentially, and this patent kind of
Yeah.
further details it that okay, they've very highly considered this, where they've got at least the technology patent. Look, guys, one thing to stress is that like just because it's patent does not mean it's happening. That's it. I mean, it very well could be. My money says it probably will, but this at very least puts it in their back pocket. So if there's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. They have the patent, and no one else can make what they did. I will say, looking at the patent, looked very interesting. I would definitely pick that up. It looked very, very interesting. Next up, Horizon MMO by NCSoft is pretty much now confirmed. There is, friendly reminder: Sony and NCSoft already announced the partnership a while ago, and there's been rumors about a Horizon, MMO. I think there was Horizon MMO stuff that got leaked at one point as well,
Yeah, I
showing like
remember hearing about this a long
yeah,
time
I mean,
ago.
this has been like some old news, but good old LinkedIn coming in clutch once again. NCSoft employee posted a job listing on LinkedIn with the codename logo styled very similar to the Horizon games called Project Skyline. I mean, like the logo looks just like a Horizon title. It's going to be PC and mobile, Unreal Engine 5, and it'd be 2025 at the absolute earliest or later. So I mean,
Damn.
this is something that we know is happening. I mean, just from like constant rumors, and like I said, I want to believe, if I remember correctly, I remember seeing a leak of the MMO of like actual like rough alpha footage. I remember seeing the robots that the user was going to fight were still like blocks. Like I very clearly remember seeing that. So if you love the Horizon franchise, here's an opportunity for MMO here in a little while. And then just wanted to finish off with three little rumors that I came across. One is a Bayonetta trilogy is apparently going to be released on the Switch too. Makes sense based on Nintendo's track record of re-releasing games, especially in little trilogies or duo ports like this. Next up is a God of War trilogy remastered is rumored to be in development. That's pretty exciting. Shout out to
That,
that.
that it'd be nice to see that that come out again,
Yeah. I mean,
because
I think it makes
it's
Get a
sense.
modern update.
Yep.
it's been a while since they did anything with like the original trilogy, and it is one of those things where while they are very like vastly different games, people that have entered into God of War from the newer games, I think they should go back and see where it came from, if nothing else, because it's like it'll give you a higher appreciation for what you got.
Yeah. And the
They're also
last
still very fun games.
Yeah, these are games that I've never really dove into, and it's games that I really want to dive into. So having a remaster would be really sick. I dove into the first game on PlayStation Plus whenever the whole new tier system came out because I wanted to test how the streaming stuff ran with a game like God of War ran fantastic. And talking to John going into 2018, because going into 2018 when I picked it up, I asked John, it's like, all right, what do I need to know? And he sent me like an hour-long video to watch. I watched every minute. I swear to God, I did. I got the full story, but even that was not
Well,
enough for me to appreciate.
I gave you the short one.
Yeah, there was like a 3-hour one, whatever.
Oh God.
But even that was not enough for me to be able to fully appreciate a couple scenes from the 2018 game that I appreciated, but not as much as John. Like the
Yeah.
Blades of Chaos scene, for example. Like John appreciated that scene immensely, as well as diehard God of War fans. And a newer God of War fan like me is just like, oh, this is fucking sick. Meanwhile, John's like, you don't
Yeah.
understand how great this is.
Everyone else is like having a big intake of breath, being like, "Oh, don't you don't have to do this. You've
Yeah,
gotten away from that life."
yeah. So a remaster would be pretty sick. That's one that I'm gonna keep my eye on, as well as I'm gonna keep my eye on a new Banjo Kazooie game potentially in development.
It's not happening.
It's happening. I'm calling it right
Oh.
now. I will bet money with you right
I mean,
now.
it
It's
would not
happening.
surprise me if that's one of the IPs that Microsoft said greenlit to make something new.
Telling you, it's happening. Phil Spencer acknowledged us. Banjo
Hey,
fans, I hear you.
hey, you know what? They'll make it, and it'll release, and it'll be underwhelming
Whoa,
sales wise,
whoa.
and people sales wise, not
Well,
I didn't say gameplay wise,
it will be on
and
Game Pass, so
it'll go back in the vault.
no, it won't go back in the vault. Now you know
Gonna happen.
what's gonna stay in the vault is gonna be Conquer, unfortunately.
Yeah, Conker's never coming back out.
My sweet squirrel, like he's gone. Oh,
You're
man.
more likely to get something with the Mighty Pooh making an appearance somewhere.
Look, there's that slimmer of hope with me that something Conquer is going to happen because like Conquer out of random nowhere has gotten love this year with like these two U2 figures plus more U2 figures. It got, a flavor with G Fuel. It's gotten a bunch of other random releases, new like $500 figures, that stuff that came out with first2figures.com. So it's gotten random love out of nowhere, almost where it's like trying to remind people, hey, you remember this? Remember this cute little guy that's hilarious? Might want to keep an eye on him. That's just kind of the way I perceive it. So I'm going to be hopeful. My hope is very low. It's like 1%, but it's no longer zero. That's the thing. It's no longer zero. But that's all I had for the weekly wrap up. Boys, you got anything else?
I don't.
But no.
All right, hitting the music. Last thoughts, boys.
Like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. It does help. Yeah, we're going again. 2023's gone. We're gonna hit 2024. It's gonna be another shit show, like every year.
Wow.
Peace.
Yeah, if you liked what you saw here with us today, come check us out again. We do these usually on Saturdays about 6 p.m. Central Time. And yeah, we're gonna go to 2024 and we'll see what happens. We're gonna do some weird lists again, probably.
That's what we do. We do random lists. We react to lists. Whenever an article comes out, that's what we do here at the show, as well as a bunch of other things. And hopefully this year we will actually, when we talk about games, we will have actually completed the games or will complete the games. That's what I'm hoping for. We'll see. Now, 2024 is going to be exciting because that's actually going to be 5 years of us doing this, which that's insane to think about. And that worries me. Like that, it's been 5 years. 5 years went by very quickly. But looking forward to year 5. It's going to be great. Can't wait to keep doing it with these guys. Can't wait for all the games to come out. Happy New Year. Have a good one. Bye.